was right down there. So, but
Wait.
so it's recording now, but she's gonna let it be dead for a little bit.
I don't know what she's doing.
All right. All right, guys. We are here. Last interview of the day here on Facebook Live. Here with Jim Winjum, president of Kenetrek Boots. First and foremost, thanks for having us. Appreciate
you're welcome.
it.
You're welcome.
And I don't know if the camera can see. I've got a very comfortable boot on today. Got to go up more. I'm not that flexible, Miranda. We gotta. So.
Here,
I'm gonna strain a hip or something. Been on the feet all day, walking around the ATA show. Feet are barking at you. I'm sure you're the same, Jim.
Oh, yeah.
Probably not. You're wearing Kenetrek boots right now.
Yeah.
But my feet hurt, and I put on a pair, just one Kenetrek boot. My right foot feels a lot better than my left one right now. So I appreciate that. To start with, Jim, can you give us a little bit of a background of the company, how it started, why it started, kind of where it came from?
Yeah, I mean, I've been a hunter my whole life. I'm from Montana, born and raised. And unfortunately, I have really narrow feet.
Okay.
And I decided at an early age I loved to sheep hunt. Those two don't go together. And so I spent a lot of years just with horrible blistering and almost to the point of wounding myself, suffering in the mountains. And so I kind of put that together with an engineering background and decided to design boots that would, I just kept thinking there's got to be a better way. To make a comfortable boot. And so that's kind of evolved, and I'm one of those fortunate people that I've been able to marry what I love to do as a hobby to a profession as well.
I guess I'm kind of in the same shoe.
I
work in an archery show.
Right.
It's a great life.
Do what you love.
It is. It's a great life.
Exactly.
So as far as styles go, we're standing in front of the wall boots here. Can you just walk us through here? I mean, it looks like we've got some trail boots. We've got some mountain hiking boots, things like that. Can you just kind of walk us through the boot, the process, design?
I will. Like our center here is, this is what's called the Mountain Extreme.
Okay.
And what this is, it has good torsional rigidity, and so again, for uneven terrain, you can picture yourself standing on a golf ball or a railroad spike, and your whole entire foot is supported. And so that's what I call the torsional rigidity test. But you feel that boot, it's unbelievably light in weight for what you get. I mean, it's less than 4 pounds a pair.
Yeah, and
but the real key is the comfort. Yeah. And again, that comes back to my blistered history, of having a narrow bony, really suffering. And so you can see that's why we put those boots on you, is because
it's fantastic.
It's like nothing you've ever felt before, right?
So for you, this boot, you said you have narrow feet.
Yes.
I've got really wide feet.
Yes.
Is it the same boot for you and I?
Yeah. We actually have this particular style in narrow, medium, and wide, but it's a very accommodating. So the medium width, which is what you're wearing right now, you would be able to typically fit that all the way down to a C Charlie width, all the way up to a double E width without having to move. And so a lot of versatility with the product.
So we're a Wisconsin-based company,
yes.
Right? So most of our customers are sitting 30 feet up in a tree stand.
Right.
My biggest thing I found, and a lot of guys have found, is that wind going. It seems like it almost goes through the bottom of your boot. Sitting on that cold stand with your feet on that metal.
Yes, and you have conduction as well, right? I mean, like anytime there's metal, it's going to draw that right out of the sole, and that is true. And you've got weight on the insulation as well, which tends to crush the insulation and kills the dead airspace. So it's just like if you took a wall, you think of a wall that's like an R30 and you squeeze it down, you lose some of that insulation. So that's definitely kind of a drawback. But with this particular style of boot, we have a variety of different insulation levels. So it's non-insulated. We have a 400-gram Thinsulate. We also have a 1,000-gram Thinsulate boot. And it's kind of a sliding scale, right? I mean, I wish I could tell you there was one boot that did it all. It doesn't exist. There's no such thing, because it's a sliding scale. Whatever you pick up on the low end, you're going to lose, when it's 70 or 80 degrees. So it's not a bad thing for me, because I'm in the boot business and I sell a lot of boots that way, right? You got to have 3.
If you made a magic bullet boot, you only sell one pair of boots.
That's right, one. We don't want to do that. We want to sell a lot of boots.
For us in Wisconsin, our bow season ended just 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Right. New Year's Eve, there were people sitting out, and it was like real temp -8.
Yeah.
what boot would you throw on my feet if I was?
Well, there would be a couple of different choices,
Okay.
and so the 1,000 gram I would say is perfect. Like I call that a true below zero boot.
Okay.
I just got back from Tajikistan, which was a crazy trip for Marco Polo, right? And so it was 20 some below zero in the morning, and then it would go all the way up to 20 to 30 degrees during the day for a high. And that was every day, and that 1,000 gram boot was absolutely perfect for that.
Even
so that,
like the 30 degrees, like when it was.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I'm still pretty bundled up, you know, because
it's not that cold.
Yeah, it's not that cold. But anyway, so we have 1,000 gram there. We also have a whole line of pack boots.
Have like the nylon in the
Which this is a double insulated pack,
Okay.
so more of a traditional, almost like an LL Bean style of rubber bottom, leather top. But this particular boot has a 1/2 inch of felt underneath your foot,
Okay.
and 600 grams of Thinsulate, and then also an additional 400 grams of Thinsulate and 3 millimeters of wool felt inside the liner. So there's a lot of insulation going on in this boot. Not a little bit heavier, not as friendly to walk in as the boot that you're in, but it depends on what you're looking for, right? If somebody's just walking to their stand and they're on relatively flat ground, they're climbing up and they're sitting, this is a perfect boot for that.
It's still, I mean, I remember growing up, there was boots that I had that
Bunny
looked a lot
boot,
like
yeah,
this,
yeah.
you know, but they looked like they're about 3 times the size of this thing.
Sure.
You know, my toes were warm, but I was feeling like you're lifting your leg up to be able to take that step.
Sure, and that's the insulation. You know, the Thinsulate is a much, effective, higher rating with a much more compressed dead air space.
What makes a Kenetrek boot different from, like you said, another high level boot on the market? Or
we just strive for quality. Obviously, the componentry it's a very high end boot. The quality of the components are as good as you can possibly get. But then it's also innovation, right? I mean, like we never satisfied. So if I can find any way to improve any of the boots, any of the styles that we make, we'll do it. You know, and so. It drives our factories absolutely crazy. They're like, can we just have 1 year where we just keep it the same? I'm like, no. And if I can come up with something new, I'm going to do that. So.
How do you find that new stuff? Is it quite literally boots on the ground?
It is boots on the ground. I mean, one of the things, like particularly in this style of boot, is that this boot is rebuildable, resolable.
Okay.
And so we have literally thousands of pairs that come back in, and that's where I spend, as the designer, that's where I spend a lot of my time, is in that back repair area.
Okay.
It's like this is where boots go to die, and I want to see what killed them. You know, like where did they fail? You know, and it's pretty entertaining.
Yeah, certain places are worn more than others, things like that. Okay.
And so we're always looking and trying to understand, where can we make that boot better? Okay. And so it's almost like we have this monstrous testing lab that's running all the time.
And it's your customers.
Actual customers, that's
awesome.
right.
That's awesome. Is there an everyday shoe or something?
Yeah, absolutely. Like here's one that we call the Bridger Ridge High, which is more of a light hiker. It's a waterproof shoe still, very comfortable. I'm wearing the low version right here at the show. Feel how light that is.
Oh wow. So that's a hiking boot for anything really.
Anything.
It's not even a hiking boot.
Yeah,
I mean, you're wearing it at the show.
Yeah, I actually use that for early season elk hunting. As long as you're not carrying too heavy of a pack or something like that. Because a lot of times I'm not very successful, so I just walk out and walk back.
On the camera, you can see all the pictures of Jim with all his animals that he's killing around us, wearing Kenetreks. As far as the boot goes, you said you can resole the boots.
Yes.
Is that something that's covered under a warranty if we wear them out?
No, typically that's the only thing we don't really guarantee with the boots, is that they won't wear out.
I guess that's,
we have the hardest users, hardest users on it.
Okay.
I mean, some of the guys they're in very abrasive environments, and they'll just completely wear the boots out within a year, and they just understand that.
Yeah,
so.
that's reasonable. So the upper.
Yeah.
So tears in the leather, things like that.
Oh yeah, I mean it's like I say, it's very high-end product, and we stand behind them 100%.
So like you said, if I'm going elk hunting, and whitetail hunting in the same year, there's not that magic bullet. But would you look at something like maybe a 400, so it's kind of in the middle? Or?
Yeah, 400 gram is our best-selling boot by far, because people typically like a little bit of insulation, and so temperature range that we'll see, say for an elk hunter or something like that, temperature range would be all the way on the low end, maybe down to 10 degrees or maybe even 0 if somebody has hot feet, and then you could wear that all the way up to 60 or 70. So that kind of is the most common, use. Whereas if you're talking about below zero in a tree stand, that's that's a different animal. Yeah. So there you'd go to the 1,000. So.
Something that I'm really excited about is just I can't get over the feeling in my feet right now. My left foot is hurting, and this it's unreal. And I can't. I mean, the only way I can tell is if I'm, it's a little bit taller.
Right.
But what's your? You designed them all. You wear them all day.
I wear them all. Yeah, for sure.
Is there a one that you go to?
Because I'm more of a bow hunter, and so I hunt early season a lot. Not so much whitetail, a little bit more western, and sheep, obviously. I mean, that's kind of been our forte. So my absolute favorite boot is the Mountain Extreme non-insulated. Okay. And here, temperature range, that's going to go all the way down to, say, 20 degrees if you're moving on the low end, and then all the way up to 80 degrees. And so that's for early season western bow hunting, that's just absolutely perfect. And it weighs less than 4 pounds a pair.
Oh my goodness. And then it's still that same solid base that you got.
Exactly. Yeah, they all fit the same.
Okay. So the bottom, I mean, the lower on all your boots is similar. It's just the insulation.
Yeah, the insulation envelope goes out.
Okay. When putting these boots on you and I before we started the video, we talked about fit, right?
Yes.
And we kind of talked about width on the boot too. But you said you like to fit the sock to the boot, correct?
Yeah.
Behind me here, I think Miranda said we can see it in the video. If we want to walk over to the sock section here, looks like we're missing one.
It might be over here.
Might be over here, no big deal. So can you kind of walk us through the socks and what we're looking at here?
Yeah, basically what we've tried to do with the socks is in order to accommodate the fit of the boot, just to tweak it to perfect it, we'll come out with a lightweight sock, a medium weight sock, and a heavyweight sock. And so that you can adjust that to your particular foot volume and tweak the fit to where it's just absolute perfection. Okay. A lot of times customers might make the mistake of fitting, they have their favorite socks and they want to fit the boot to the sock. That's a little bit backwards. You definitely want to adjust the sock, and sometimes you can adjust your footbed as well, insoles as well.
So I mean, merino wool's, it's been around forever, but it just seems like recently merino wool is gotten a headline role in the hunting world.
It is, and really what's happened there is it's, again, innovation. So the quality of the material is the merino wool, but now the ability to through modern materials and sophisticated technologies is to actually marry together fibers that are stronger, because merino wool by itself is very weak. It's a very soft fiber. That's what the benefit is. I mean, it has excellent moisture transfer properties.
Stretches.
Yes,
and
exactly.
It stays there.
Exactly.
It's like an old rubber band.
And it insulates when it's damp as well, but it's not very strong. And so by the increased technology, you can see some of the socks, the design there, the heel pockets. So there's lycra involved there, there's spandex involved there, there's nylon involved there, and it's almost like if you picture the merino wool fiber, which is very soft, it's surrounded by material that is much harder, much more durable. And so this is relatively new. It's only in the last 15 years that this type of technology has come.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of our customers are heavy into merino wool. Personally, I am, and I know a lot of people are, but it's nice to see it, because I've found that when it's not mixed with something else, it
can be pretty soft and stretchy, and
it feels nice.
Exactly.
But then all of a sudden, it feels like my arms are getting shorter or something. I guess there's thousands of boots around. I mean, just walking around the store or on the show, you can see. I mean, probably from here, I can see a different boot company, right? For all different kinds of situations, whether it be hunting, hiking, whatever. What sets Kenetrek apart? Why should a customer of Crosse Archery come in and try on the Kenetrek boots and make the decision to wear your boot?
Yeah, again, it comes back to my three favorite things, right? Is the fact that it's the boot that is going to give you support, right? Which you need, especially as a lot of people are aging. I mean, you've got arch collapse, you've got foot issues, you're in rugged terrain. The difference in wearing this boot versus wearing something that's very soft when you're in the rocks or things like that, huge difference. I mean, your foot fatigue will be incredible. What's your foot fatigue like at this concrete floored show? Right, but anyway, you've got that unbelievably light in weight again, but the comfort is the key. So to have a supportive boot that is more comfortable than anything you've ever felt before, that's kind of the magic.
Yeah.
I've been selling boots for a long time,
Yep.
and this boot is nothing short of magical.
Yeah, awesome.
As you can attest to,
Yeah,
right?
I can. I mean, I'm wearing these shoes that are
Yes.
hurting my feet because they're formed to my foot.
Yes.
It feels like this Kenetrek that I've had on for 20 minutes.
Yes.
It feels like it's formed to my foot.
Yes.
And it's just so comfortable.
Yes.
And-
And over a period of time, I mean, obviously it's a stiff boot, so
Yeah.
it does require some break-in. Over
Yeah.
a period of time, that boot will actually mold right to your foot, and it's almost like a custom fit.
Nobody else can. It's like Cinderella.
Yeah.
It's my own
Exactly.
Cinderella slipper.
Exactly.
So, I know I'm excited to put these on, or to, you're going to make me take this off eventually, I'm assuming.
Yes.
To put this on and wear it in the trees.
Yes.
Wear it in the tree stand, wear it out west, wear
Yes,
it around. I'm excited
absolutely.
to have these boots in the shop. Customers, we have a question. Oh,
A question about how fast the boots dry and how fast the socks dry and any kind of moisture.
so drying of socks and boots.
Drying. I mean, you definitely want to manage that moisture with the sock. The whole theory is that you want, because your feet are going to perspire
Yeah.
for sure. You know, they have a waterproof membrane in them that is breathable, but it never breathes as well as if it's
Yeah.
not there, right?
Yeah.
And so you want to manage that moisture. And so the whole theory with the merino wool sock is that it's going to absorb perspiration
Yep.
and draw that out from your
Yeah.
foot. So it keeps the skin dry, and your socks will be more damp.
Yeah.
So you definitely want to dry them overnight, you know, that type of thing, and manage the moisture. So
Yeah.
changing socks, you know, is a really good theory. Another thing that's a tip, if somebody has real trouble with perspiration, is to use antiperspirant. Same thing you put under your
Yeah.
arms, right? You can use that on your feet, and that's a remarkable thing. I mean, some customers, some people, their feet don't sweat at all. Some people really have an issue with that
Guilty.
as well.
But, and then that, I guess, building off of that, waterproofing, I guess one final thing. Is this something like a waterproofing kit? Does that come with the boot? Is that
No,
something that
it's an additional
It's an
add-on.
aftermarket
We have some
kinda-
customers that don't do anything with their boots,
Okay.
but we always, with leather, you want to condition the leather,
Yeah.
you want to take care of the leather. It gives it lubrication, and it also keeps, you know, you've got a really nice, high-quality, lightweight boot.
Yep.
Keep the water off of it. Why absorb the extra weight
Exactly.
in water, right?
So
And
is
you
that
would
just
always
a matter of rubbing the compound?
Correct.
Just cleaning them up? and-
Correct.
Is that a daily thing? Is it like bowstring wax? You want to do that every time you shoot?
Like I say,
Or-
our customers are all over the board.
Yeah.
Some of them have never done anything. Like they just
Okay.
literally take the boots
Take
out
the
and they
box.
wear them till they die, you
Okay.
know. And other customers are very, very particular. But you
Okay.
can usually tell when you've got some discoloration, you know, because the wax will darken the leather
Okay.
as you put it on. Then if you're in really wet conditions, you'll start to see, you know, some dried out spots, and then
Okay.
you'd hit it again.
Perfect.
That would be the ideal situation.
Do we layer socks?
Yeah, that's personal preference, because the socks have become so good as far as fit and materials. Like I say, many people have gone to just one sock. Me personally, I still think you provide a little bit of additional blister protection. Remember my history?
Yep.
And so I wear a liner sock and a heavier over sock.
Okay.
And I seem to prefer that. So.
Any other questions? All right. Well, like I said earlier before we started wrapping up, guys, I'm excited to have these boots in the store. I know you guys probably are too. Getting something new on your feet, something comfortable, and something that the president really stands behind.
Oh, yeah,
and you
for
love
sure.
it. So,
For
Jim,
sure.
I really appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Guys, that'll do it for Friday. Day 2 of ATA is over with. One more day tomorrow. We got some aero companies to chat with. We got another release company. We're excited. One day left of ATA. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We'll see you tomorrow on Saturday.